Alright, so in this One Piece dive-in, this video is basically a review on the arc that I cover and my personal thoughts about it. So if you don't like it, then bite my ass. So jumping into Romance Dawn, we're introduced to not the protagonist. Odd choice, but okay. We're introduced to Nami of all people, before even Luffy. Nami seems like a normal girl, but that's until we're introduced to Alvida. And I'm gonna say this right now, I'm loving that Alvida design. Not gonna lie, she's kinda bad, but okay. Suddenly, we're shown that Nami's not so normal. She starts sneaking around and raiding the pirate ship. And during all this, we meet a little wimp called Kobe. Didn't really think much of him until we were introduced to Luffy. And I'm just gonna say this now. I like Luffy from the moment he got out of that barrel. Fearless and simple, a classic shonen protagonist. Can I get an amen? Luffy and Kobe have a pretty good dynamic. And before I could stop laughing at these two, I keep laughing at them because I just can't stop laughing. I mean, come on. The dynamic between these two, it's incredible. It's incredible. Pretty much sometimes Luffy will just straight up ignore Kobe, and I think that's hilarious. But after they get to know each other, Kobe and Luffy exchange dreams. You know, one wants to be the Pirate King and the next wants to be a Marine. But then Alvida was like, how long has it been since I've tortured a child? And then bursts into where Luffy and Kobe are. At this point, Kobe's kind of had enough of Alvida, but that's because Luffy kind of gave Kobe a new outlook on life, to fight for his dreams. So, Luffy watches as Kobe stands up for himself. He laughs, I laugh, and then Luffy pretty much beats up Alvida. And at this point I was kind of rooting for Kobe and Luffy. But anyway, yeah, Luffy beats her up and leaves with Kobe. What an interesting start to an anime. In episode 2 to 3, I should say. Episode 2 to 3. We're introduced to the coolest character in all of fiction. Motherfucking Zoro, buddy. Zoro or Zolo. Who calls this dude Zolo? If you call him Zolo, I'm afraid you're a freak. You're a freak. In this episode, he meets pretty much his second mate, or what I consider his second mate. No one really knows if Zoro is the first mate from what I hear, but it feels like it. I've gotten to a certain point in the One Piece series, and I feel like he's pretty much the first mate. He's like the second in command, kinda. Anyway, he's introduced as a demon of the sword, so you know he's already cool. I already knew he was coming with the crew, or coming with Luffy. But he's tied to a crucifix. Why? Pretty much this crazy swordsman bet a spoiled ball-chin loser that he could survive in the sun, with no food or water, because he was taking a punishment for a little girl and her mother, so that they wouldn't be executed. How nice, but oh, big surprise! Ball-chin boy is planning on killing him, a main man Zoro. Luffy sees this and bops him in the face. Can we get a round of applause for Luffy? Can we please get a round of applause for him? Luffy goes back to the yard and tells Zoro, you're coming with me whether you like it or not. Luffy tells Zoro, you're coming with me whether you like it or not. And yeah, Zoro pretty much accepts his fate. And then they beat up Asshat Morgan and Ball-chin boy. Roll credits. I do not like these guys at all. Episode 4. Luffy and the crazy demon Zoro are off on their next adventure. But not before beating up Kobe, I guess. Luffy actually beat up Kobe. But anyway, it's here where we realize Zoro and Luffy cannot navigate to save their lives. Luffy just sails around, and Zoro pretty much just can't get back to his village. Because Zoro was trying to look for an even bigger demon. Mihawk. Anyway, Zoro was trying to look for Mihawk, but got lost. So basically, gotta hand it to these two. They pretty much just said, fuck it, the seas are calling. Navigational skills, don't need them. I could punch and I can cut, I guess. But I digress. In the episode, we're shown Luffy's backstory, and it was really touching. It was a really nice backstory. Shows us why Luffy is the way he is, and I'll try and summarize it for you. Basically, Luffy was in a bar, and he was hanging out with Shanks and his crew. Shanks and his crew were having a grand old time. They were all talking to Luffy about how Luffy can't really join the crew, and it made my man upset, man. But Shanks pretty much ignores Luffy. So, the more Luffy insists, the more he gets made fun of. But Shanks to me is like a big brother trying to keep his little brother safe, you know? He's just trying to keep his little bro safe. Anyway, so then these mountain bandits come in. I hate these guys. They cause a ruckus, spilled some sake all over Shanks, and Shanks pretty much ignores it because no point in putting your hand in the trash can. No point in beating up trash. They're fodder, basically, as you guys can tell. But, moving on, basically, these guys rough up Shanks just a little bit more before they decide to leave. Luffy did not like this, so, yeah, he pretty much told Shanks, I can't believe it. I can't believe you let them do that to you, Shanks. Shanks, on the other hand, pretty much just said, Luffy, it wasn't really worth it. They weren't really worth my time. Luffy eats a devil fruit out of frustration, and that's why he's a rubber man. So the next day, Luffy pretty much goes to confront the mountain bandits, or in the manga, he was just in the tavern, and the mountain bandits happen to come back to the tavern, whichever one you want. But yes, I'm reading the manga and the anime at the same time. Anyway, we're just gonna go with the anime. But yeah, Luffy basically tells off these mountain bandits, and I'm just gonna say it now. He's a really brave kid, really stupid, but really brave. He gets his butt kicked, and his face pretty much trampled. Shanks saves the day by showing up. Lucky Roo, that's what I'm told that the big fat guy in Shanks' crew's name is. But yeah, Lucky Roo pretty much shoots one of the guys trying to, intimidate Shanks. The mountain bandit leader pretty much pisses off like a little piss baby. But he takes Luffy, throws Luffy into the ocean, and yeah, I'm just gonna say this now. The fucker gets eaten. He gets eaten, and that's wonderful. But Shanks' arm also gets eaten trying to save Luffy, who cannot swim at this point. So, Luffy is saved by Shanks, but he realizes that Shanks' arm is pretty messed up. It's done. Luffy is reassured by Shanks that, hey, it's just an arm. It'll be fine. And, not gonna lie, this is a really sad moment. So, at the end of the flashback, Luffy is pretty much given the straw hat by Shanks. Why? Because Shanks pretty much bet on Luffy, pretty much. He has a lot of faith that Luffy will become a good pirate. Because what you don't know is that Shanks finds this straw hat it's valuable to him. It's really valuable. And he pretty much trusts Luffy with it. So, yeah. He said to bring it back in good condition after you've become a good pirate. Luffy cries, and that's it. Jumping back to the present, Luffy and Zoro finally catch the straw hat that Luffy was about to drop into the ocean. And thoughts on the series so far? It's a pretty charming series. I think that, this is the start of something great. Okay, Luffy just lands in Orange Town, and pretty much he said what happened to him was awesome. This guy is an idiot. Oh my, this guy's an idiot. Anyway, my personal thoughts. I love this protagonist. I love him so much. He's awesome. No one will, literally, no one can top this protagonist. Except Deku, but that is a different topic for a different day. Anyway, that's it. So yeah, get lost.